always at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the news update playoff edition. That's right, Super Wildcard round is here. And with the 49ers, there's always news. And there's good news for the San Francisco 49ers with players returning to practice and the 49ers getting as close to as healthy as they could possibly get. And we're going to go through it all during this quick update. And it starts with Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw was back at practice and ready to go. The 49ers, of course, practicing on Tuesday because they play Saturday against the Seattle Seahawks. So the practice schedule normally moves up. Tuesday, normally an off day. Not the case for the 49ers. They're at it, getting ready for the Seattle Seahawks in the third matchup. And Dre Greenlaw is a big reason why the 49ers have had success against the Seattle Seahawks this season and in the past. I think everyone remembers the 2019 stop at the goal line. But the 49ers defense with Dre Greenlaw is just better than it is without Dre Greenlaw. So with Greenlaw's back feeling better and him reacclimating to practice, he's going to play in the wild card round, and the 49ers are going to be full strength at the linebacker position. That means Azeez Al-Shaair goes back to playing his Sam linebacker in the base 4-3 sets, and Dre Greenlaw's out there, in sub packages. That means nickel and dime as the linebacker that's in coverage. So that's good news for the 49ers and good news for the defense. D'Amico gets another piece that he can use, a sure tackler that can cover out in space. Pretty good against the run, too, Dre Greenlaw. He's pretty fantastic. Another guy returning to practice is Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks, of course, had the MCL. They even talked about, potentially an ankle, so he was out against Arizona. But there was lots of good news and optimism that potentially he could come back after he was seen along the sidelines in that game where he was injured holding his helmet. And that was against the Raiders. He's holding his helmet, but he's standing on the sidelines. That's always good news. And it was great news because Aaron Banks returned to practice as well, which means Daniel Brunskill and Spencer Burford can go back to their normal rotation at right guard, and the 49ers will be full strength along the offensive line. It's a good thing for the 49ers. They've had this group together pretty much the whole season. They've only managed a couple little things. A missed game by Aaron Banks, one missed game by Spencer Burford, a game missed, a couple games missed by Trent Williams, but for the most part, they've been healthy along the offensive line, and you can see that chemistry working together. The 49ers are at full strength. They have full depth along the offensive line, and that's going to be needed to be able to beat teams like the Seahawks, who have improved pretty rapidly over the season on defense. They're a lot better. This 49ers offensive line will have to be better, and Aaron Banks makes them a lot better. He's good in the run, and he's been great in the pass protection as well. So Banks is back. Great news for the 49ers. Demetrius Flanigan was the one lone injury coming out of the game against Arizona. He was dealing with what Kyle Shanahan called a sprained neck, and they listed him as day-to-day. Well, he was back at practice today. Nothing is stopping DFF from getting out there and helping this football team. So the 49ers get one of their big-time special teams guys out there and don't have to rely on somebody else to fill that void. But once again, the 49ers linebackers all there. Flanigan joins, special teams ace Oren Burks as the backups to the big three on the 49ers linebacker group. Demetrius Flanigan will be out there, and the 49ers could use him on special teams. Seattle does pretty well in the return game. Also back, Kevin Gibbons. Kevin Gibbons has been out for a while. He was dealing with an MCL sprain. Last week he practiced, and this week he's a full participation in practice. No limitations. He's going to be ready, and he's going to be a part of this rotation with Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw. It's going to be exciting to watch and see what they do. But Gibbons is a penetrator. He can get in there and he can wreak havoc on a lot of different opposing teams. He can stop run games, and I think he's going to be very important for the 49ers in this playoff pursuit at potentially going after a Super Bowl. So Gibbons is back, meaning the 49ers get two defensive players back that have been impactful on this season, and Gibbons has had success against the Seahawks already this year, so that's great news. News about the quarterback position. Jimmy Garoppolo, according to David Lombardi, was seen in the locker room, and Lombardi even talked to him, and Jimmy Garoppolo said he was able to put pressure on his foot. That means we're about 6 weeks in that the foot feels pretty good. This is the healing time that they expected. So is he going to play in the wild card round? No. Is he going to play in the divisional round? Probably not. Could he be available for the NFC Championship game? It seems like that is a likely scenario for the 49ers to potentially have Jimmy Garoppolo backing up Brock Purdy if the 49ers are able to make it to the NFC Championship game. I think that's good news for the 49ers. That's good news for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just the fact that he's healing at a nice rate. And the fact that David Lombardi said Jimmy told him he was still able to do things with his legs. He's still been able to lift, which means there's not going to be a huge period at which he needs to get his legs back underneath him. So he could come in if something, heaven forbid, was to happen to Brock Purdy. So that is good news for the 49ers. You always want to get healthier and healthier and healthier. And it seems like they are doing that in all areas, including potentially backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Kalia Davis, he was on the NFI list. Of course, that means non-football injury. He got hurt during the offseason when he was preparing for the draft. And then the 49ers, opened his window a few weeks ago. Well, Kalia Davis is not going to be activated from the NFI. So that means today was his last day of practice, and he will not practice again. 49ers officially redshirting Kalia Davis until next year. So Kalia Davis will not be helping out the 2022 49ers, but could be a big part of the 2023 San Francisco 49ers. So no Kalia Davis, but I know that the team itself has had very nice things to say about what he has looked like. They've been happy with his progress, and that's good signs for the 49ers as Kalia Davis could be very impactful to a defense that's going to be missing a bunch of defensive linemen because they have a lot of one-year deals that they have to figure out. Where Davis, they don't have to figure out. They know what they got in him. The media schedule for this week for the San Francisco 49ers, I brought it up a little bit earlier. Of course, they practiced on Tuesday. Kyle Shanahan had a press conference where he talked about the NFC West game against the Seattle Seahawks a little bit. The fact the 49ers will have to go 7-0 against the NFC West opponents to be able to get to the divisional round, but they're going to do it at home. A game that's also probably going to be played in the rain. It's raining like crazy here in Northern California, and it's probably going to rain that way on Saturday. So the 49ers are going to have to deal with the elements, but so are the Seahawks, and it's going to be a fun game. So what do? They're going to they practice on Tuesday. They're going to practice on Wednesday as well. 12:58 practice. D'Amico Ryans, Chris Furster, and Brock Purdy will have press conferences after practice, approximately 2:45. Then on Thursday, there's a 12:18 practice. It's going to be pretty short, pretty light. That's how they're handling. Most of these playoff practices are going to be very light. More about install, making sure you have the game plan set, what plays you're going to be running, make sure you understand your defensive calls and what you're looking at as far as playing Seattle. There'll be a little bit of scout team as well, but not a lot. And then Kyle Shanahan will hold a press conference, and we'll find out exactly, who looks like they're going to play, but it looks like the 49ers are going to be full strength. So it's not as much hanging on pins and needles as it usually is when it comes to it. Then Friday, they're having off day. 49ers won't be having anything going on Friday because on Saturday, they strap it up against a hated rivals, the Seattle Seahawks, and it's going to be a fun game. That kicks off the 2022 NFL playoffs, 49ers versus Seahawks, 1:30 at Levi Stadium with what could be a wet football game. So it's going to be a fun one. I hope you guys all enjoyed this update. If you did, give the video a like, please. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Get more news updates like this. And of course, we're ramping up playoff content. It's going to be a lot of fun. Multiple shows coming out this week if you want to check out more 49ers content. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I hope you guys all have a good day and stay safe. And remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.